Good afternoon, everybody. Today I am going to be going over Chapter 10, more specifically Dialectic of Direction and Change. So let's get into it. Okay, so for a little overview, of course, first I'm going to be going over interpersonal communication. After that, we're going to go over the direction and change. We're going to look at beyond manners, as that helps aid and guide like direction and change of communication. We're going to be looking at the film, which is going to be Don't Worry, Darling. After that, we're going to look at my journal article, and then it will be the references. So with interpersonal communication, so it is very crucial for careers and your development in life, as with interpersonal communication, you interact with so many different people at your job, as well as like outside of it, and how you represent the company you work for. So, of course, just how you approach different people, how different people approach you, it all impacts the direction of change that dialectics are going, and how other people see you. It allows for clear and concise communication with others. As we grow up, we're taught interpersonal communication, whether you realize it or not, since like our kindergarten days, even preschool, where we're taught how to socialize with each other, the right and wrongs, and good communication ethics. It opens up relationships for trust, because if someone goes to you with an issue and you show that you're empathetic, you're really listening instead of having one thing, like what they say, go in one ear and out the other. Plus, it opens up that room to like relate, as well as show that you really do care about the person in order to get something done. It helps with conflict management again, as how it opens a relationship for trust. Just being better, like present within communication, and just being better with communication and realizing like what you do does have actions and like consequences, and it will impact other people's life, whether you know it or not. And then building healthy relationships. This one is just so important, because when you meet new people and when other people meet you, you want to be sure that you are putting your best foot forward and showing that you are a true communicator and you know what it takes in order to keep the relationship going, foster new relationships, as well as just really get your point across and show that you care about others. So with the dialectics of direction and change, everything that I found in this was through our textbook. So business and communication work ethics, it allows for direction and change and a more creative response. So with this, just seeing that like you have a good work ethic, or your work ethic could be different from like another company, just having that room open in order to welcome creativity, welcome like inspiration for responding to different situations, or even like growing in a company, it's huge. Like we see companies and they're really part of like the bigger like way that we notice direction and change of dialectics, whether we know it or not, and then we'll tend to follow that. It provides an ongoing expectation of innovative spirit and mentality. So with this, it's like kind of like a full steam ahead. So if I am working at one company and I see a company similar to ours and they're doing like a new type of marketing, or they're doing something where they're just reaching out to the community better, their customer service is amazing, that really just helps like show that they are taking charge, they are really showing that they do care about changing, because as times change, like of course something in the 1920s might not work as it does today in like 2023. So just knowing that communication is always going to change, and just having that mentality to welcome that and enforce it. Also, the clarity of direction and courage to pivot and change direction. So if you see something's not working, they have the full ability to be like, oh, hey, let's try this instead. I work at a country club and I come across so many different situations. So just knowing like how to deal with a member or a kid, like figuring out the way to do that in order to like pivot and like get them the best care that they need and best communication as possible. And then it promotes the good of survival and competitiveness. So of course, capitalism and everything within life, there's always some kind of competitive nature. So just being sure that you're on top of the change and the direction of the change, so you don't fall behind in any communication trends or any ethics that like are good or could potentially become bad in the long run. So with beyond manners, communication ethics commitment in the professional setting is equal to the good manners and proper form. With this, it's just like communication ethics is very like we all know what it is. We all know what like good ethics are when it comes to communicating. So just making sure that you have it continued in a professional setting just shows like good manner and proper form. Like your business is very nicely put together, it's nicely run, everything's cohesive, everyone's on the same page of how they should interact with anyone they come across, whether that's coworker or like a person that they're helping. It provides a smooth path of interaction, so restraining from bad actions. Like you see someone come in and you like roll your eyes and you turn away because you don't want to deal with them, versus like coming up to them, greeting them, asking them how their day was, if there's anything they can help you with or you can help them with, just stuff like that. Because when there's kind of like bad actions or like bad attitude, it reflects on you and the company, and it just shows that like, hey, they're not like really in that mindset to change. Common temptation is resisted as it does not help much in keeping ethics accountable. With this, we want to keep away from any temptation that might be in the workplace with like communications. So of course, it would just be easier to acknowledge or act like the person doesn't exist, or like roll your eyes if they say something stupid or like outlandish. But you want to keep the ethics like there, you want to keep that relationship and that trust present. So just being sure that like you're keeping that accountable. And then checklists also take away from what we feel is right and actually ethical. So with this, there could be like a whole checklist of things to do, like in order to act like you're promoting like good communication ethics. But that's not always the case, as some things could like fall out of line, some things could change, and then like it's not up to date. So with Don't Worry, Darling, I took it into account with how in the textbook it says like someone not telling someone a plan or just like leaving them guessing. And in this scene, Alice confronts Frank about what the Victory Project is all about, and he keeps pivoting.
Using you. He's using all of us. Do you even know what the Victory Project actually is? Have you ever asked?
Do you? Is that why you went out there? To headquarters?
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but you don't know what he's doing.
You wandered out by yourself. You ignored every rule, and you put all of your lives in danger.
Okay, so with that, the Victory Project, it's more of a thing where guys enter this simulation, they take their spouses, and it's supposed to be like a perfect life, except the women don't really know what's going on, and the men don't know the full truth behind it, and they're not showing it. So they don't know the dangers of what's happening, and Frank is just keeping quiet. So they go from like the modern world back into like a 1950s world. So we see that direction of change within the communication and how it all like plays out. We even see it flash forward to where Alice is coming back from her job as a nurse, and Jack, who is her husband in the movie, is just fed up with all of it and just decides that he's going to take matters into his own hands and transport them back in time.
Using you. He's using all.
Alright, so with my journal article, CDA as dialectic reasoning, which is critical discourse analysis. And it just shows that like social life can be damaging, but it can also be changed with like discourse. A good example is the 2007 economic crisis, which indicated a need for change. So something that is like hurtful or damaging does show that like, hey, maybe it's actually time to change the protocol and what we are doing in order to better establish what it is we want. And it also hopes to raise awareness about how language upholds the domination of some people over others. So just like the difference between classes is a big one. So like higher class people know more words and know exactly what to say versus lower class people. And with the communication ethics and dialogue and dialectic and everything, it just keeps getting upheld and reinforced throughout generations. Also, how deliberation is impacted by other activities. So not even like the economic crisis, but say like social media and like protesting. It just shows how like the language of what we say is impacted by everything that we see and we take in on a day-to-day basis. But that is all for my vlog. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask them in the comments, and I look forward to reading what you have to say. Thank you!